Makeup, check. Uniform, check. Bow, check.
Welcome to the world of competitive cheerleading.
My name is Abby Malborn and I am a cheer addict.
I began cheerleading nearly 2 years ago now, and since then it's taken over my life completely. Now it seems as though I'm not the only one. With new squads constantly being formed, it's one of the fastest growing activities in the UK.
Throughout this programme, I'll be travelling around Britain, meeting new squads and speaking to people who can tell me exactly how cheer is developing and gaining recognition.
Now, a quick Google search of the words cheerleading and sport returns nearly 11,000 results. Hot topic?
Maybe so, but not all of these results are positive. There are countless articles discussing the sexualisation of girls and calling for a halt to sport recognition campaigns. Cheer has developed from sideline palm shaking to an elite athletic activity, yet cheerleaders still have to fight this stereotype every day. I'm here to find out what the general public think about cheerleading, with a little help from this. So if I was to say the word cheerleading to you, what would spring to your mind first?
American football games, I assume.
A girl with a short skirt.
A girl with a pair of pom-poms.
Yes.
Cheerleaders.
Mm-hmm.
Football and things like that.
Football. American cheerleaders on the basketball court. If I'm to show you a quick video, would you still think the same thing after seeing this?
No.
So does that change your mind at all?
Yeah, it does a bit.
It's a bit more.
It's more like,
Gymnastics and athletics.
yeah, an
Yeah.
individual sport.
No, yeah, they are more of a gymnast really, aren't they?
Now, we've talked a lot about stereotypes, and one of the things that often comes to mind when you mention cheer is America. I'm about to speak to Kimberly Archie, who's based in California, and she's dedicated much of her career to cheerleading and is the founder of the National Cheer Safety Foundation. I want to find out exactly how she wants cheer to progress and why it's so important.
Here in the U.S., we have a federal law that requires fall protection for people in the workplace. How can you not have that in sports or in cheerleading, in this example? How could you not have that same protection for children or young adults that you have for guys loading bombs in a war zone? Like, that's silliness, right? Yeah. So I definitely think making it a sport in a sense of safety is crucial.
And so do you believe that we are one step closer maybe to gaining sport recognition for cheerleading?
I do. I think we are, and I think that the participants and the coaches that have been involved are the ones that really wanted to legitimize it in a sport sense, and it's really kind of like coming full circle. You know, cheerleading was the first leadership position for females in American society, and most people don't understand that. It's interesting that it was the first opportunity for women to be leaders and to be active. And they were left out of the sport movement, and now they're beginning to be included when they should have been all along. That we allow females to be as feminine, and even males, as feminine as you want. And we accept you, because that's what we should do. It should not have to be masculine to play sports. It shouldn't be the only definition of a sport. And I believe it's the final wave of feminism, that not only do we get to play sports, but we get to have a say in what it means and how you play it and how safe it is and how many women leaders are involved in it, and that we're truly like a part of sports and not just playing the games that men play that they came up with, that they organize and run.
Now I'm heading to South Wales to meet RSD, a squad that recently won an award for Sports Business of the Year. Not for cheer, but dance and gymnastics, which the programme also runs. Why? Because cheer is not officially a sport. I want to find out how recognition could help them.
To get get the recognition they deserve, I think would be good for them. I think it would also help, obviously, with other people's perception of what we do. There'd be a clearer understanding of what's involved and the difficulty level.
We train hard, just as hard as any other sports do, and it quite isn't fair that we are not a sport ourselves.
People have this view of cheerleading from years and years and years ago, and they haven't been able to get it out of their minds. And if we could wipe that out of their minds and show them what it is today, there's no doubt it's a sport. And if it was a sport, we'd get a lot more support. People say, oh, it's pom-poms. Well, there's pom dance, and pom dance is very difficult. And it is its own entity, and is amazing, and it's very difficult to do. But people get an idea that it's just people running around in skirts yelling, and as you can see, we have no skirts on. And we're not just screaming wildly in the air. It really has a purpose. If people ask me what I do for a living, and I say I'm a cheerleading coach, they go, oh. And then I go, you know when we throw the girls up in the air and catch them? And they go, oh yeah. So people don't know what cheerleading is. And if they knew what cheerleading was, in terms of all-star cheerleading, what we do, then they would think of it as a sport.
It's the only sport that I stay to. Like with football and rugby, I just couldn't be bothered for it. I just kept leaving all the time.
It's better with all the boys. You develop friendships so young.
Yeah.
I feel like we've known each other for years.
The bigger the better. The more people know about cheerleading, the better.
And someone trying to promote cheer is Lucie. She's a blogger and often writes about the development of cheerleading.
I argue quite a lot on my blog about it being a sport and raise lots of concerns and different aspects of what different people think. And I think quite a lot of people like there to be somebody with a voice that can voice everyone else's opinions and help to promote it. It's over 100 years old now. It's about time we sort of got the recognition we deserve, and the negative stereotype needs to be taken back and shown what modern day cheerleading really is. It is hard, but you have to just keep going and keep really pushing yourself and, you know, helping to show that it is a sport. And we don't just throw pom-poms around, we throw people around.
Kris Lines is a university lecturer and recently published an international online survey asking people whether they think cheer should be a sport.
A key research finding is that people want it to be a sport. They think the main reason it should be a sport is for safety reasons or for enabling access to funding. There is very much a reputational or an image aspect to cheerleading, is that they either see it as it's an American thing, you know, we don't do that in this country, that there is an athletic component to it, it's the best of dance, dance is a sport, it's gymnastics is a sport, acrobatics is a sport. So if we combine them together, why isn't cheerleading a sport? Are they doing a sport while they're doing sideline cheer? No. Are they doing a sport when they're doing the other elements? Yes. And it's very much the same as, well, you're playing a sport if you're practising football in the park. Well, no, not really. You're doing it if you're playing a match, yes. And because there isn't a clear single governing body representing cheerleading where there is for other sports and other what you might call fringe sports, then cheerleading is suffering from that regard, and it won't be recognised.
I've been in touch with Sport England, who weren't able to provide me with any information about the sport recognition process for cheer.
As one of the studies on the Sports Council that determines the application, it is not something we would want to talk about outside the process. If you would like further information, please visit our website.
But Kimberly believes that it's cheerleaders' resilience and determination that will eventually result in recognition for cheer.
They account for 67% of all the catastrophic injuries since 1982. They're also the most likely athlete to recover from a catastrophic injury. I mean, it's surprising, but is it really? Like a cheerleader with a bunch of friends who are cheerleaders that think they can do the impossible? Is that really that crazy to believe? What sport can have a spokesperson in a wheelchair that says, go for it, do it, don't do it safe, don't be unsafe, but go for it? And that's a cheerleader for you.
So cheerleading is exciting, fast-paced, and if you do it, you love it. It's extremely addictive, but can also be extremely inspirational. Unity SuperStars were England's first competitive special needs squad, and since they began, they've won more trophies than your average cheer squad.
It combines dance, it's got gymnastics, it's got stunting, and there's a real team spirit. within the squad, and I think that's really important because they just accept everyone for who they are, and these young people, they just love life, you know, they're so happy to be there and to do a routine. At the end of the day, we are a big family, and it sounds really cheesy, but it genuinely is. To see the self-confidence on these young people's faces when they achieve is just amazing.
What do you like the most?
Doing all the stunts because I fly, so I like going up high.
I'd love to see every cheer team in England have a special needs team to go with it. They should be treated the same way as you and I are. When we go to a competition, we earn that trophy. But it's difficult because there are not enough teams, they can't compete against each other.
You are Lucie!
What you see in competitions is amazing, and you and I both know you train so hard for the sport, and yet people don't really know what it involves. My next ambition is to take them to a more local international competition like France, where we can all take the Eurotunnel, or some, you know, we can get the whole team out there just to promote special needs across the world, really.
It only seems like 2 minutes ago since the whole of the UK went Olympics crazy! And of course, cheerleaders were there. Yes, squads from throughout the UK performed to packed out stadiums just like this one at the London 2012 Olympic Games. Now I'm heading to Bristol to meet some of the cheerleaders that wowed the crowd. Amee Garala and Ella King were Olympic cheerleaders at the London 2012 Games.
We were the half-time entertainers, so it wasn't a very big slot, but I feel like the crowd enjoyed watching us sometimes more than the actual players. We always get like a good reception whenever we perform. There's always loads of cheers. It's because it's unusual, not a lot of people see it. So it's quite different to watch. I think they're expecting a bit more pom-pom and chants rather than
and high kicks, like woo.
It's very different to that. I don't think I've ever competed with pom-poms before.
No, when we got there, they said that they wanted more high kicks and pom-poms, and our coach was like, no, like that's not what we're about, so we're not going to change now, just for the Olympics sort of thing.
So, would they like to see cheer in the Olympics?
Yeah, I would love it.
Yeah, I think it would be amazing. Or even just like in the opening ceremony or the closing ceremony, just to have that recognition, for people to have that opportunity to even just perform.
Yeah, it would be good to see like countries have like the best from each country.
Yeah.
To be in a national team.
I believe I will get to sit in my old age at the Olympics. And 5 years ago, I would have said no way. And now, based on what I know is going on, I see it, being a part of the Olympics and, within maybe 12 to 20 years.
Yet, despite all the optimism, I spoke to the International Olympic Committee, who told me that there are no current plans to include cheer.
Cheerleading are not yet in a position to apply to be on the Olympic programme, since the first step in the process is to be recognised by the IOC. For a sport to become an Olympic sport, it must first apply to become a recognised sport by the IOC. In order to do so, the international federation representing the sport must be in conformity with the Olympic Charter.
It may have a long way to go until it's loved as much as something like football, but for some, it really is everything.
Anybody who come to watch that didn't have respect for that doesn't really make any sense to me, because it's incredible.
Not something you want to give up. You try giving it up, you can't give it up.
No, you can't.
You can't leave.
Everything comes down to that 2.5 minutes, and that 2.5 minutes is the best thing you can ever experience.
It's a welcoming atmosphere that cheerleading is for everybody, as opposed to just an elite few.
I think it's that feeling at the end of a routine. You won't get it until you watch them compete at a competition. But the minute they finish a routine, they are just buzzing.
It's literally like my second family. Like, I don't know what I'd do without cheer now.
So. It's a way of life.
Those that cheer are leading a generation.